Hello, I'm Pastor Shafer. I'm the senior pastor of Mount Olive Lutheran Church in Santa Monica, California. And this is our new program, Hope Matters. In the course of these brief programs, which we're going to be sharing on our YouTube channel, I'll be talking to people that I know about hope in their lives, what it means, especially in these times. I will mind my congregation and my family and friends and talk to hopefully a variety of people over time about the theme of hope, which seems to me to be kind of an appropriate theme to be talking about in these times. Our first guest is Sheryl Anderson. Sheryl is a member of Mount Olive Lutheran Church, and she is the secretary of our congregation council. She is well known in the entertainment field as a showrunner and writer for television, and recently debuted a new series on Netflix called Sweet Magnolias, which in its first week of being released on Netflix was the #1 show on Netflix. So good morning, Sheryl. Glad to have you with us. Can you start a little bit about telling us about Sweet Magnolias?
Well, thank you, Pastor. I'd love to. Sweet Magnolias is based on a series of romance novels by Cheryl Woods, who is a New York Times best-selling romance author. She is also the author of the books on which Chesapeake Shores on Hallmark Channel is based. And our program is part of a new effort at Netflix to focus on female-led romance dramas. And so it's a story about 3 women in a small town in South Carolina who have been friends since the cradle, who now approaching their late 30s are dealing with issues about family and business and men and what they want out of life and men and how to be good neighbors, good friends, and how to find and sustain romance in their lives.
Wonderful.
I'm sorry?
Wonderful. And these women go to church. They actually go to a Lutheran church, don't they?
They go to a Lutheran church, yes. Miss Woods mentions church in the books, and I seized upon the opportunity to have characters go to church not just to undergird a particular special moment in the series, but as part of the fabric of their lives. It's a small southern town. It's part of their daily lives, certainly part of their Sundays. And since I am a cradle to grave Lutheran, I wanted to take the opportunity to share with the audience the beauty and power of being a Lutheran. It's an ELCA congregation with a female African-American pastor, and the ladies and the children go, are regular members. And at some point in the first season, each of our ladies goes to Pastor June for counsel outside their worship lives. They also talk about grace and faith and redemption in regular conversations. They pray together, especially in times of great turmoil. I just wanted to see women like me and my friends, busy women who are sustained by faith and by grace on television, and this became the perfect opportunity to do that.
You know, Sheryl, my next question was going to be to have you talk a little bit about your faith and life and your journey, but it sounds like you've actually done that through describing the show.
Well, they say write what you know, and my faith is so important to me, and I have worked to integrate my faith and my art, and everything that I do in life, so that one can't really be separated from the other. If I take the talents God has given me and use them to serve Him, and you can't tell where one begins and one ends, then I feel like I've really accomplished something, because I've shared with people, this is how I'm trying to live. How about you?
That's wonderful. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen Sweet Magnolias, of course, Cheryl would recommend it, but I would really recommend it to you also. Sweet Magnolias on Netflix. It's 10 episodes. You can watch them one at a time or binge for a weekend. And we're hoping that there'll be a second season, don't we, Cheryl?
Yes, that is a great hope. And I'm right now, I'm humbled and blessed by the reception the show has gotten, but I would happily and eagerly dive right back in.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's talk about hope a minute. In this time when there seem to be a lot of hopeless things out in society, how do you find hope in your life, Cheryl?
I find hope in the wonderful community at Mount Olive Lutheran. I'm so indebted for your leadership and for the community of fiercely committed people that we have. We have not fallen off our goals during the pandemic. And at home, I have two young adults, my children, living with me, and they give me hope every day. I want to model good faith for them, and good perseverance and resilience, because they both want to work in the entertainment industry also, and they've seen as they were growing up, it's a tough business and there's a lot of rejection. And I've often been asked over the years, isn't it hard to be a Christian in Hollywood? And my answer has always been, I don't know how you survive in Hollywood if you're not a Christian. Because 99% of the time people are telling you no. And my hope comes from my God, who keeps telling me, just go forward and see what happens next. In Sweet Magnolias, one of our characters says sometimes the biggest act of faith is getting out of bed in the morning. And there's so much uncertainty in my profession that I have to have hope. I have to have hope that the right project is going to come together, that the project is going to resonate with the executives so that we get it in front of an audience and then it resonates with them. And if I didn't have that faith, I'm not sure I'd know how to keep going forward. We all have dark days, and situations we find ourselves in where there doesn't seem to be a door to open to get to the next thing. And I think that's the biggest part hope plays in my life, is that I have learned, well, you have to find the door and you have to open it. And that door may just lead to a hallway, and then there's another door a little further down. But you have to keep going. Of course, I have said that, the Footsteps poem, where you look back and there's one set and Jesus says, I carried you. I am quite sure that if I were on the beach with Jesus and we looked back, we'd see heel marks where he dragged me from where I thought I needed to go to where he wants me to go. But I learn something every time he pulls me back onto the path. And that renews my hope to keep going forward.
Thank you. That is a very good summary. What can we say of faith and life for you and for all of us? And I think you're right. As the characters in the show said, there are some days where the best thing you can do is get out of bed. And there are a lot of people in these times having those difficulties. And it's easy to get overwhelmed. But on those days, for you and I, hope gets us through. Hope in God, and the knowledge of God's love for us that continues even in those hopeless days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I was growing up, my father was a career naval officer, and he would have to be away a lot. And I would get very anxious about how long he'd be gone and if he was okay. And my mother was the one who instilled this in me. She actually used to say, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. But she would also say, don't dwell on what can go wrong, look for what can go right. And certainly when my dad was home, he was cut from very much the same cloth. They were both very, very active in the church wherever we lived. And it was an important part of our social lives growing up, as well as our faith lives, to be part of a vibrant community. And when we had to move and start all over again, and I would feel so at sea, if you'll pardon the expression, they always pointed me in the direction of hope and optimism and said, there's a reason we're here, let's find it.
I like that. There's a reason we're here, let's find it. That isn't saying God has a specific reason for me to be here, but there's a reason we're here, and God will help us find it.
Indeed.
Thank you, Sheryl. Thank you so much for being with us today on the first episode of what we hope will be a continuing conversation program about hope. And for our viewers, please do take a look at Sweet Magnolias on Netflix. And Sheryl is also going to be featured in the June-July issue of the Living Lutheran magazine, which is available in print and also online. And, we'll hopefully be hearing soon about another season for Sweet Magnolias. And
hope.
Sheryl, you know how much I appreciate you personally and how much all of us at Mount Olive appreciate your leadership in our congregation and your commitment to this growing congregation that's trying to be a place for everyone in this community. And thank you for helping us try to achieve that.
Well, it's our honor and delight. And to finish here, I just want to say my kids and I came to Mount Olive during a dark and difficult time for us. And you gave us hope, and the community of Mount Olive gave us hope. So we love you, and we're so grateful for what you've done for us as a family. And I so deeply appreciate what you've done for Sweet Magnolias as a show. And it's a joy to be part of Mount Olive and part of the team accomplishing great things for the Lord.
Thank you, Sheryl. Those are wonderful things. And thank you to everyone watching our program today. Watch for our next episode of Hope Matters. And remember, every day of your life is in all times, hope matters, and God loves you all the time. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.